Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today is Friday, May 28th, 2021. My name is Aubrey and this is my astrological outlook for the day. So, how's everyone doing? I hope we've made it to Friday. We've made it through the eclipse. We're on the brink of Mercury stationing retrograde, and I hope everyone is doing well with releasing the past and being open to the changes and the new beginnings that are really starting right now, because that is the theme of the week. And today we have an interesting day, and there's a lot going on under the surface of things today, and specifically in regards to issues surrounding love, relationships, partnerships, and money. Things bubbling to the surface and potentially bubbling over. We have a Venus-Mercury exact conjunction today at 25 degrees of Gemini. This is where Mercury is going retrograde tomorrow. And now, generally, whenever Venus and Mercury conjoin, that brings a lot of emphasis and communication that is going on around love, money, relationships, partnerships, business partnerships, and a lot of talking, communicating, messages, incoming, options, alternatives, looking at different things, looking at different ways of doing it, and just generally talking about issues regarding these topics, what Venus rules, these themes that Venus rules. However, because Mercury today is stationing retrograde tomorrow, and that is where the conjunction is happening, and it's also happening in a square to Neptune, these things, the way that we're talking about these things, first of all, might be in regards to things that are wrong with them that we feel like needs to be fixed. And also these issues, like the communications that we're getting in terms of relationships, in terms of partnerships, in terms of like financial situations and money and stuff like that, might be sort of like confusing or just not very streamlined, not making sense, like foggy and murky and veiled, and we're not really sure what we're reading or what we're seeing, or just a lot of confusion around these things. And also, this might bring up things that have gone on underhandedly in the past, or manipulation that has occurred, to be talked about and looked at and like reworked, because that's what we're doing with Mercury retrograde. And with Mercury and Venus in conjunction in square to Neptune, that is also just like a lot of delusion around relationships, partnerships, money and financial situations, unclear information, miscommunication, misinterpretation, also, like, in a way, like, idealizing things and seeing things through, like, rose-colored glasses, not wanting to address the truth of the situation, and there being conflicts that arise because of that. That can be another way that this energy manifests. So, generally, yes, there's going to be a big emphasis on relationships, money, partnerships today, a lot of communication, like I said, a lot of messages coming in and stuff, but the nature of these messages are going to be somewhat unclear. They can also be kind of like underhanded or manipulative, or talking about manipulation or hidden things that have occurred in the past in terms of these areas, and also just general lack of clarity in terms of the information and the messages, or talking about things not making sense in money, in love, in relationships, partnerships, stuff like that. Or people being very evasive and elusive in terms of talking about those type of things. So just not straightforward. And this also, though, indicates things happening in finances and financial markets, like in talking about markets, money, economies in the news and stuff like that, but also possibly oil with this. But there's also possibly indicated like sort of a decline right now in terms of finances, like financial markets and stuff like that as well, just because Mercury is with Venus, stationed to go retrograde and square to Neptune. And so that's just a general lack of clarity in terms of the Venus subjects that we are talking about, and that we're getting information about, and that we're getting messages about today. So definitely on an emphasis on love, money, and relationships, but just not very clear, or talking about things that have happened or have been done or have been hidden in regards to those type of situations. So we have that. Number 2, we have the sun today at 8 degrees of Gemini and the earth at 8 degrees of Sagittarius. This degree 8 Gemini, where the sun is aroused strikers surround a factory. So with this information that we're, dealing with today in terms of relationships and money, and this also might be in relation to things that we need to let go of, that we're kind of having a hard time doing in relationships and in financial situations and in partnerships. We may have come to a point where there are things that we really just need to let go of and to move on from in these areas of life, in these things, and it's kind of sort of creating like a bit of a mental struggle or a pull, like just a little hard on our heart, or just kind of not really wanting to, but being at a point where we need to, because remember, we're in a huge window of needing to release right now and release the past and release what is no longer beneficial to us, so that we can move on into the newly opened horizons and a brand new future. And that is really where we're going, because with the sun at 8 degrees of Gemini today, that means that the sun is officially in a conjunction within a 3-degree orb to the North Node. And the North Node, when the sun comes with the North Node, that's our future, that's our destiny, that is the future path that we're being pulled towards based on the decisions and our actions and our evolution in the past. And so with the sun coming into conjunction with the North Node, we are all collectively and in our individual lives embarking on a brand new path and a brand new reality, and rediscovering our purpose, our life purpose, and our direction in life based on our evolution into new and different understandings about ourselves. This is Gemini, so it's very much about ideas, understandings, and perspectives that we're gaining now, and letting go of maybe ideas, perspectives, and understandings that we've had up until this point that have kept us in like a certain way of life. And this is also in a trine to Saturn and Aquarius. So this is in relation to Saturn and Aquarius. And so the changes, the new purpose that we're aligning with now, these drastic changes that many of us are making in our life, and the adjustments that we're making now as Saturn goes retrograde, are really contributing to what we are building and working towards going forward in our future. The North Node, the path that we're following in a trine to Saturn. We are building our future actively right now, and we're reworking things, we're reevaluating. With Saturn going retrograde, we're looking at what we've been building over this past 6-month period of time, specifically around since like January, and we are really thinking about what we need to redo, changes that we need to make in order to make it more sustainable, more enduring, more long lasting, and just in a better place to carry us through into the future. And with the sun coming into conjunction now with the North Node in Gemini, this is aligning all of us with our new path, basically, and what the path that the future wants to take us going forward. So over the next few days, over this weekend, while the sun comes into conjunction with the North Node, possibly a lot of fated events, fated occurrences, things just sort of like falling into place that are going to be relevant in terms of the direction that we're moving or that our lives are taking going forward. So we really need to be paying attention and moving towards the new direction, the new path, the new opportunities. And we need to be really being aware of opportunities that are being presented to us right now, and not being not holding back and not being caught in sort of thought patterns that say oh, I've always done this, I've always done it this way, so I would never even think about doing that. Now totally random, totally different opportunities may be coming our way and presenting themselves that offer really a way of life that we've never experienced or even really considered before. But with the North Node so activated and being activated by the sun right now, and then Mercury moving his way back towards the North Node as well when he goes retrograde, now things that are happening and places that we are finding ourselves, that is trying to align us with the new direction that we're going. And we need to be very open to the surprising nature of it and not resisting it, and really open our minds to all future possibilities and not be held back by doubts and just being really concrete and cemented in old ways of being. This is the time to let the old ways of being go, because it just, if we don't do it willingly, it will happen forcefully, and when things happen forcefully, it's usually not the most fun. So we just really need to try to be as adaptable and as open to new possibilities, new opportunities as possible, and not be afraid to follow a brand new path if that looks like it's how things are unfolding. Okay, next we have Mars moving to 22 degrees of Cancer today, tightening to a 1 degree orb trine with Neptune in Pisces. And this energy is really driving us like inwards and upwards and out of our ego complexes. And we're being given the energy and the motivation with this to seek out spiritual connection and nurturing, to really feel a deeper connection to our faith and to our spiritual nature, and really derive a lot of comfort and nurturing for ourselves from that in these difficult times. Spiritually driven awakenings and experiences are happening with this, and this really is all about helping us surrender our personal will to the higher power, which fits beautifully, so beautifully into the bigger picture of things right now, because with the North Node and the Sun coming into conjunction, realigning us with our new path, our new direction, new opportunities for a brand new and freshly opened future after all that we've been through collectively over the past few years. And having had this eclipse this week, really asking us to release and to let go of anything that is held us stuck in old patterns of belief and behavior, and be open to really stepping through into a new world and accepting the changes that are coming with that. And then meanwhile, we have Mars in this beautiful trine with Neptune, and it will move exact over the weekend, right around as the Sun comes to conjunct the North Node. So again, that is helping us to surrender our personal will to that higher power, and really surrender to faith and trust, and knowing that we're on the right path, and that whatever is coming into formation in our life right now is the direction that we should follow, and we should not be resistant, like I said, and held in patterns and belief systems and ways of being that we thought defined us in the past, because there's really no definition for anything anymore. And as we move through this age into the age of Aquarius, all of this energy is really urging us to go inside and find and reconnect with our true and authentic selves, and our connection to our higher self, and our spiritual guidance and our faith in that, and then really work on and cultivate and develop the skills and the unique individual assets that we all have, and bring those out and find ways to serve the greater good with them. That's really where we're all going with this, and that is going to be the most effective way to build going forward into the future. So really, in the story today, as things are unfolding, everything's kind of fitting together quite beautifully, really like puzzle pieces, in terms of what we need to have going on to really help us accept and adapt to and release and move into these changes. And also remember, we still have, and we will have for a few weeks, the black moon in a trine to Pluto. And that, under the surface of things, is really doing a lot to transform subconscious programming on a really deep level, without us even really having to be involved, because it's the trine and it's just sort of naturally happening under the surface. And those subconscious changes and transformations that are going on are going to really do a lot to help us move forward in this process too. And I just wanted to mention also, the Earth today is at 8 Sagittarius, opposing the Sun at 8 Gemini. And the degree of 8 Sagittarius is within the depths of the Earth, new elements are being formed. So again, this really is talking about things happening under the surface today. And the moon is going into Capricorn and is in a trine to Chiron today. So there's healing going on under the surface of things as well. We have a pretty busy weekend coming up in terms of the aspects. Tomorrow we have Mercury going retrograde, like I said, and that degree where Venus and Mercury are conjuncting today, and where Mercury will retrograde tomorrow, is 25 Gemini. The Sabian symbol, a man trimming palms. And so, like, I feel like this degree in this context is really about like cleaning things up, but also maintaining images. And so I think that that is what we're going to see a lot of over this Mercury retrograde period. Really trying to like manufacture and clean up images of information and narratives. And I just, because of the square to Neptune, I really think it's going to be quite a cloudy and confusing time with multiple different versions of reality and being told as if they're all independently true. And just a lot of confusion and people divided in terms of what they think is real and what they think is not, and the potential for just a lot more like mental health issues and cognitive dissonance and anxiety because of the mental fog and the lack of clarity and all of that. So we have that coming, and we have Mercury retrograding tomorrow. We also have Neptune changing degrees tomorrow to 24 degrees of Pisces. Finally, this degree is an inhabited island. To me, the way I see it, and these degrees can be interpreted all different ways, but when I think of an inhabited island, I think of something that is like generally self-sustaining, and that is like this, you know, piece of land in the middle of the water, but it still contains everything that it needs to thrive and maintain its inhabited population and the creatures that reside on the land. And with Neptune, the planet of spirituality, at this degree, 24 Pisces, in his own sign, I feel like this is going to make all of us come more into our own spiritual power and really become more reliant on our own individual connection to God and to our like higher power and our intuition and our divine knowing, and become more reliant on ourselves in terms of the spiritual messaging, the spiritual connection, the spiritual truths that are then extrapolated into the truths of what we believe and what we perceive around us that are going to be very murky, very foggy, very unclear at this time. And I really think that as we go through this Mercury retrograde period, that is truly going to be the answer, is, you know, trusting our gut and relying on our intuition and what we feel, you know, to be true on a deeper level, and not so much just parroting back and trusting all of the traditional sources and authorities that we've become reliant on for information up until this point, because there is just a lot of manipulation and a lot of propaganda and a lot of delusion and intentional confusion going on, because there's simultaneously so much truth being exposed and coming out. So we have, you know, really got to learn to trust our own instincts about things and return to common sense, whatever that is for each of us on a personal level, and start thinking for ourselves and stop letting ourselves be controlled by external thought rulers. And that's another major theme that we're dealing with this year as we go through this astrological cycle of the new moon in Aries of 2021. We also have Chiron changing degrees tomorrow to 13 degrees of Aries, and this is a bomb which failed to explode, is now safely hidden from discovery. So there's a lot of ways that we could translate that, especially with Chiron ruling health and healing crises and money as well. So I'll talk about that more next week as we go. I mean, Chiron will discharge this degree for a while, so over this period of time, we might see some crises diverted some way in terms of health situations and money. So we do have a big weekend coming up, and like I said, also the sun is going to be conjuncting the North Node in a couple of days. I think that might be on Monday, but it's just, we're in a very fated period of time right now, and it's a difficult period of time. It's a time when we are having to let go of a lot of things, and it might be painful, especially in regards to relationships, partnerships, and money right now with the Venus-Mercury square. But we just really have to fall back on our faith and trust that it's part of a higher plan, and that everything, you know, every difficult situation that we're encountering right now is really ultimately going to be for our benefit in the end. And that we're realigning with a brand new path right now. And it's all based on where we've evolved to personally up until this point based on the work we've done and situations and the circumstances that we've encountered and how we've handled them in our lives. So that is my report for today. I'm wishing everyone a beautiful weekend. If you liked my video, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Share it with your friends if you think that they would find this type of thing interesting. And please leave me comments. I love your comments. I've been super busy the past couple days, so I haven't been able to respond back, but I'm going to get on it ASAP. I read every single one of you guys' comments, and I'm like super, I love talking to you. So leave me comments, and I will see you guys back here for my astrological outlook for Monday. We got a busy weekend. Mercury's going retrograde. Oh yes, and remember, whenever Mercury's retrograde, it's not good decision times right now anyways, but technology, big purchases, stuff like that, just not really the best time for it. So I will see you Monday, and we will talk all about more astrology. Have a good weekend, guys. Bye.